Welcome back. What's up, Canada and beyond? It is Thursday, June 27th. Do you know what's going on in Clown World, Ottawa today? We're going to take a little bit of looking into some of those things that are happening in Clown World. As always, you're truly Wayne Peters here at What's Up Canada, and we're going to talk a little bit today about the propaganda. We're going to unpack that a little bit and how that comes to be, and define it a little bit more, and kind of clear away some of the mud on how what we see and recognize as propaganda. We're going to particularly compare notes between some of the what everybody's got a different term for them. I define what we used to call trusted news, journalism, fair, unbiased reporting of facts. That's long since history. And we have this utopian environment of state funded, narrative driven programming. Literally taking TV programming to its core root definition. So, we're going to dig into some of that here tonight, specifically the CBC, the $2 billion boondoggle that Mr. Polyev has sworn to get rid of should he be elected. That's one thing that I do hope that he lives up to, although I don't have the greatest expectations on everything else, but that's another story. Tonight we're going to dig into the propaganda machine and the cost of it, what it looks like. It's deeper than just the legacy media. I call them mercenaries, and we're going to take and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of uh, what I guess I took for granted as far as for understanding what goes on and how it all works. So we're going to start with a resource sheet that was put together by what is it, Canadian Free Press, I guess, and some Canadian shareable news folks. And then I hope you guys share this out. And as always, find us on one of our alternative platforms. I'm a little bit discombobulated today. Honestly, today kind of came at me out of, everything out of the ordinary happened to me today. And I've been kind of behind the eight ball, behind the gun on everything today. So if I'm a little discombobulated, bear with me. I will get into the swing of things at some point. And yes, please, guys, don't forget we're facing some of the most heavy censorship regulation in human history here in Canada. We're going to get into how all of this works here tonight. We're going to talk about what the other side is doing, because the foundation of it is propaganda does not work without censorship. They are symbiotic. You cannot allow alternative thinking and an alternative expression while you're trying to hammer home a specific narrative. So these two things, we get very frustrated and angry and outspoken about the censorship, while not necessarily understanding the mechanics behind the propaganda. So this is going to be an easy show and tell for you guys. Um, Throw into the comments, please, from you guys, where you guys are tuning in from. Let me know if you're having any issues getting a hold of or getting onto any platforms. We've been having some trouble with Rumble lately. Facebook has banned me from live streaming completely. Thank goodness for Rumble, X, and Substack. And guys, on Substack, you get everything, the full meal deal, all of the receipts, all of the links, all of the videos, all of the slides, all of the resources that I talk about and bring up on one of our shows here are in the Substack, and it is free. It is absolutely free. That being said, we're getting to the end of the month, and I am getting to the end of my craft dinner supply, and I do depend on you guys to occasionally, from time to time, throw a couple of bucks if you can and find value in what I do here, to donate at whatsupcanada.org. I need to depend on you guys as much as I wish I didn't have to, in order to keep this show running. And I'm hoping that you guys are finding a more consistent value in it. We are on show 19 this month, and 19 Substacks will be out by tomorrow morning. So good stuff happening there, guys. And you can choose to volunteer to pay for my Substack. I think it's $8 a month or something like that, and that would go a long ways to helping me keep going. So now to this uh, expose, shall we call it, on why their propaganda, how it works, and why it is failing, and how miserably it is failing. So over the last couple of days, it's been much celebrated, this unexpected victory by the Conservative Party in Toronto, St. Paul. We've all seen the headlines, and as it shows here, I get crossed up between my fingers and my directions. But as you can see here, exactly verbatim, copycat media, mockingbirds, mockingbird mercenaries. That's what I call them. They are mockingbirds hired to assassinate the truth. Every single one of them, from the Canadian Press News, the Star, the CBC, CTV News, Global News, CP24, National Post, the Globe and Mail. The Globe and Mail was the only mainstream outlet that is copying the story verbatim. Just I encourage people. This is a simple test that you can all do to show people how crazy it is. Where the entire news cycle of our nation, it like comes out of central headquarters at exactly on the clock, morning, news, and night, like a radar signal. You can all picture this. Just bing, ping, ping, exactly the same thing from every mouthpiece, across every spectrum, pretty much, only slightly altered once you get into the fine print of it. But the headlines in all of these cases, from Tri-City, Toronto City, Halifax, pretty much regurgitating exactly verbatim, the same material, right? So this is what they do morning, noon, and night. And I'm gonna have, because I've got so many different types of things that I'm going to show you here. There's going to be a couple of little instances here where I have to move around, jiggle some stuff, and get to some of the other good stuff. So, and here we are. Okay. Now, CBC, starting with the CBC, Trudeau's favorite. Here's actually a PDF report style document that I managed to get a hold of from them. And this goes back to May 2024. So this is a year plus going on, right? A year plus. Um, with podcasts and influencers, the Liberals fight to win back lost ground with young voters. Liberal support has cratered among millennial and Gen Z voters in recent years. Really? So a year ago, they were announcing that they were releasing their budget last month. All of these things, they were really just uh, basically what they did in essence threw gas onto the dumpster fire that is the Liberal Party. And what are the results right now? We're going to ping pong back and forth here a little bit between some of this, so I can highlight, the cause and effect, and this will make sense in just a few minutes. But according to Atlantic News, more Canadians are living in poverty than previously thought, says a report. According to the findings, nearly 6 million additional Canadians are living in poverty than what's reflected in Statistics Canada's most recent poverty data. We're not looking at just income alone. We're looking at what people can actually afford, says Richard Matern, the director of research at Food Banks Canada. We're seeing more people who are perhaps living above the official poverty line but are still struggling to make ends meet. You don't say. Matern says the findings should push governments to expand dental and drug coverage programs that exclude some benefits based on individuals' income source. Of course, Big Brother, please, universal basic income, more programs, fix what people need instead of solving the problem, right? So the report's findings suggest 30% of Canadians aged 18 to 30 years old, 44.5% of single parent families, and 42% of renters are experiencing a poverty level standard of living. That's inarguable. The fastest growing real estate market in Canada is the tent city market. The fastest growing food distribution system, supply system, is the food banks, which are basically going broke, right? So this is, you know, uh, um showing you guys that over the last year or so, they've been attempting to engage in this dialogue with the next generation, Gen Z and Generation M, Millennial. But it's really, so I'm going to be popping some stuff around again. Bear with me. Okay. No, that's not the right one. I hate when this happens. I lost a story. Cannot find it. Definitely hate when that happens. Oh well, I guess we'll. I told you guys I was a mess tonight. Um, so we'll head right to the experiment then, and we'll get to that. Pulling up a chart here called participatory action research cycles. And often we've talked about the Hegelian dialect, problem, reaction, solution. This is actually a model that they have nostalgically brought forth, adapted, and improvised. And you can see here some consistency where this is like our government model, where they define a problem, take an action, they observe, reflect, redefine the problem, redesign the action, observe, reflect, redefine the problem, redesign the action, observe, reflect, and they just keep chasing their tails, right? So we have a model like this, and this comes through some deeper research that I was doing into what um, an assessment of the coupling between the green financial system and the sustainable development system across China. Well, it doesn't just apply to China. This is what they're implementing and using to adapt, improvise, and develop the implementation of the goals here in our own country. And that model, and this is kind of messing me up. My dashboard isn't working correctly. But through that article, looking at how they're using ESG to persuade and influence and extort businesses, companies, and corporations, that's in essence exactly what we brought up and looked at here the other night. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Diligent. Remember these guys when we brought them up the other night, showing you guys another nonprofit organization that exists merely to teach companies how to comply with better reporting of their participation in the ESG reporting, so that their narrative falls in line of compliance, right? This was the article I was looking for before. Yeah. When it comes to their using the propaganda, it's backfiring. Backfiring. basically everything that they're doing is backfiring. And this article from the National Post, as of today, are opposing everything that this liberal government is portraying and pretending that they're doing on their behalf. This equality for the future, they're not buying it, and this is why in Trudeau, in the liberals' case, they lost Toronto St. Paul to the extent of even the Toronto Star. You guys are going to love this. Even the Toronto Star put out an article. And yeah, I'm going to read this for everybody. Ta-da! I cut off the picture, but this is from Andrew McDougall, a contributor at the Toronto Star, and reads rich. If Justin Trudeau's life were a country music song, now would be the point in the proceedings where he's all sad and lonesome, watching his girl dance with another man. Kind of mocking the West, I think, there a little bit as how sad they are living a country song. But this is just gets even better. That's because Pierre Polyev, the man he loathes, Donald Trump reincarnated, according to all right-thinking liberals. Correct, politically correct thinking liberals, has just swooped into downtown Toronto, the big smoke, Liberal Party HQ, and done stole his woman. Uh, you can practically hear the pedal steel guitar lick accompanying the prime minister's tears to the floor. At least a prime minister should be sad because what's happened is bad, catastrophically bad. Toronto Maple Leafs in spring bad. If Toronto is now fertile conservative ground, not much of anything liberal will be growing come the next general election. If that isn't the best article that I've seen describing the current situation of the Liberal Party of Canada right now. I don't know of a better analogy of how to sing Trudeau's swan song. So, in desperation, I showed you where they've been trying for a year to get people through podcasts and all of those kinds of things to come into alignment with the narrative. You guys are seeing and living and experiencing the censorship that they're crushing platforms like mine under. And because we won't submit, prostrate ourselves, and disappear and go quietly into the night, they're bringing in Bill C-63, which intends to jail us for life for expressing or even daring to think some of these things. And I really highly doubt that if I quit now, that they wouldn't make that retroactive and come after me anyways. So one of the other things that quietly got slipped under the carpet through this endeavor was Elections Canada. Got caught in 2019 already, paying social media influencers before they even used their campaign. They got caught, so they didn't use the campaign, and ultimately, still, there was no. I think they made a statement about how they were going to try to get the money back, but then they said, "Well, no, we're not really going to get any of the money back. It's only $350,000, so they'll get over it, but they shouldn't have done that." But here we are in June of 2024, and Ottawa keeps spending on influencers. Liberals say it's about stemming disinformation. Remember what Klaus said at Davos in January? The two most dangerous things in the world was the lack of trust in the media and stopping the disinformation. So, correcting this and silencing us is the two biggest priorities at the World Economic Forum, UN, international governance level. But Oh, this one almost escaped me, but yeah, this even Rebel has kind of gotten in on. Um, when I first read this, and I don't usually cover a lot of Rebel media's information because if I dare to say anything, I will have Ezra lawsuit slapped on me in 5 minutes. But whoever is putting this together for them, Roberto Wakerell Cruz, it's like he went and watched exactly the other articles that we started the show off with, the copycat articles that every single outlet basically ran the same headline. You read the first lines of that article, it's exactly the same. So it really makes me wonder. uh, just makes me wonder. Just makes me wonder. Does nobody have the ability to recreate anything or dig up new information or look at things differently? Or, I mean, I'm sharing their news, so I'm not regurgitating and copying, pasting, or you know, infringing on their stuff. But this is kind of how they operate. So I've got a whole bunch of resources here, guys. I didn't get the time today to take some special snippets and clippets out of them, but uh, that's kind of give you guys again more research source points. This has been ongoing since 2021. They've spent at least $1.7 million on social media influencers, right? I had to go and dig into it, so I went to Sage Journals and I dug up white paper where they literally they take a look at and analyze political influencers on social media. This is an introductory overview. It's still 9 pages long. This was published in April of 2023. So I went to these guys and I pulled up this definition, this term. What is a political influencer? Um, so the term political influencer encompasses both those who exclusively focus on political or social issues in their social media activities and those who temporarily or in a more limited manner promote political or social causes through their accounts right? In other words, whether someone is a political influencer is highly contextual and may depend on the issue at hand, discourse dynamics, or geographical or temporal context. Our definition encompasses those who operate professionally as influencers and those and whose primary income source stems from influencer activities. Now, this is important for people to understand and distinguish because it's not just the propaganda that we're fighting. It is the influencers. It is all of those entities, like exactly like the diligent group that we dug into the other night. And that is an influencer. When they're looking at individual influencers, it's organizations like Diligent, these nonprofits and nudge groups, organizations that are responsible for enforcing and implementing find people like me, uh, like Rachel on Twitter and a few others that go out there and chirp and chime about the whatever it is that the government wants implemented, and to the detriment, to the ultimate murder, in my opinion, of many, many, way too many Canadians to count. Health Canada paid said style influencers to promote government the coronavirus, the beer virus. I'm going to get busted, busted. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is what we're looking at. So our health agencies and our political parties have not just weaponized the mainstream mercenaries, but have also engaged in, since the entire beginning of this scandemic, to use a handful of social media content creators were paid by the Department of Health to promote COVID-19 pandemic messaging. Um, this is still ongoing. $1.7 million. They're still doing this. This is, you know, well, in this particular case, actually, he breaks it down here a little bit. Um, from May. a contract beginning in May 2021 to pay influencers $682,000 of your money uh, to promote their response to that insanity. A secretive influencer campaign to push Canadians toward making informed, quote unquote, decisions concerning these things. From fitness creators, travel creators, family creators, drag queens, and more, these content creators, a couple of them, I pulled up who these people are that got some of that $682,000 um, of your taxpayer money to convince people that they should go and get stuck with a chemical injection. These are just a couple of the ones that made large on of your tax dollars to be witting or unwitting accomplices to the biggest assault in human history. And what did they do it for? What did those guys do it for? Well, I started looking, well, how much do they make? What do they make? So, what does $682,000 buy you? Well, generally speaking, and this is off Quora, which is a an interesting site to say the least, but they could break it down, based on, and this is basically just opinion, people in the industry, contemporaries, counterparts, um, deep research saying that if you've got 100,000 followers, an average charge is about $800 per post. Per post. So this guy and this individual got, depending on their following, I don't know what they've got. Uh, I didn't look. I just can't look to see. I'm definitely not going to follow, but I'm pretty sure that our liberal crime syndicate paid them top dollar for their expertise and services, uh, as much as it is. But and then middle influencers from $100 to $300 per post. Micro influencers, sometimes maybe they were doing it for donuts or their own uh, front of the queue lineup. I'm not sure, but uh, this is as of June of this year, still on the Liberal Julie Dershowitz, Member of Parliament, Davenport website. Look familiar at all? This is June 13th, 2024. Um, sorry, no, that wasn't the first one. What was the first one? The first one was, oh, yeah. I have to stop this one. Oh, bring up this one. Dang it. Dang me. Dang me. I'm going to take a rope. No, nothing like that. Remember this one? May 25th, 2024. They're fighting back with for younger voters with the exactly the same headline. Why is everything so messed up on me here today? All right. We'll get there. We'll get there. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. Okay, so there are. This is actually there's some science to this stuff apparently, guys. Absolutely, the Libranos. Yeah, Trudeau did it with SNL and Hard Protect Treason of the Criminal Code. It's bullshit. How many other laws did they cancel? Uh, you know, um, Yeah, I know it's all bull, but they're continuing, and the point is not arguing whether it's real or not. We know it isn't. They're pretending like it is, and they're still coming at us with the same system: wash, rinse, repeat. And there's an actual science to it, and they have monetized this shit at the Cambridge University press level. They talk about all of this, break it all down into an industry. This is huge, and this is the point I'm trying to make by sharing these reports, these this material, is so that we can understand that right through here we are, another one: International Journal of Communications, the political relations influencers, the mobilization of social media influencers in the political arena. I'm going to read this one out for you. Maybe I'll zoom it up a little bit for everybody, but as an abstract overview, and this is what's important. We talk about propaganda. That's only one leg of this four horse beast of the apocalypse. When it comes to the war, the psychological war, the psyops that they're using against all of us. This is Big Brother. This the alphabet enforcement agencies. This is when we talk about the weaponization. This is what I'm showing you. Their weapons. This is their cleaver or their spear or their bullet, their rifles or their cannons, whatever you want to use to describe it. This is what I'm showing you, what their weapons are, their drones, this control of the mental capacity of our entire societies. This is how they do it, do it, right? Social media platforms are a powerful tool to exert influence and impress opinions for commercial operators, brands, and political campaigns. Influencers can help campaigns reach specific audiences and convey support for issues and candidates. In this study, we focus on political relational influencers who operate to legitimize and amplify political messages, specifically in the context of Instagram and TikTok. That's not limited to or not including every other platform. They do it on every other platform. The reason they love Instagram and TikTok, it is much shorter packets of content for them to deal with. They can hammer through it a whole lot quicker, right? So we define this group of influencers as content creators who promote political and social causes for payments or without payments to their audiences. Loyalty, the hive, the cult, the programming. There's some serious allegiances there through there. These sycophants do this shit for free. For them, it's like part of an online game, right? And I've experienced this firsthand, where in a gaming environment, when they wanted to silence me on one story, they literally dropped a bounty, and I only know this because one of the people that took part in the silencing of me in that occasion actually reached out via email and apologized and explained to me how it had happened. He was in an online room of gamers with 1,000 gamers, and they dropped a bounty in there and get a free tool in your game if you go and bombard my site, report it, and leave a comment, die boomer die. So I literally got thousands of die boomer die comments and reports on my page, and they shut me down for months over that. And that was done through the gaming world, right? Through the gaming influence, right? And they did this for free. There was no cash exchange, but through the use of influencers. And we've shown where the anti-hate network, the ARC Canada network, this is exactly how they operate. They have influencers at their disposal. I did an expose on a fella about that, and I should have pulled that up. But at the end of the day, this guy is insane. But he was likely the guy that blew the whistle for the attack on my platform. So through in-depth interviews with 18 influence campaign stakeholders, that would be like the Diligent organization that we looked at. These guys, those are the ones that they're referring to. Uh, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I lost my page. There we go. There we go. Through an in-depth interviews with influence campaign stakeholders, the stakeholders being the public-private partnerships, the nonprofits, the NGOs, uh, the nudge groups per se, a term under which we congregate influencer marketing executives, political organizers, strategists, influencers, journalists, academics, and regulators, all of the regular career frames that are required for a campaign on media, the experts, the people to fulfill the roles in the context of the story of the narrative that they're trying to project, right? We shed light on the complex and sophisticated ways influencers coordinate among each other and with political campaigns. I thought only China and India were meddling in Canadian politics. Wait a minute. You mean it's not just China and India meddling in political campaigns or working with marketing executives, political organizers, strategists, influencers, journalists, academics, and regulators? It's not just China and India. Interesting. Interesting. The motivations of influencers to get involved in political campaigns and the question of where to draw the line between genuine grassroots coordination and disingenuine astroturfing organizing. I hope it's starting to get a little bit clearer on how these organizations come together, and it's actually been, you know, an analyzed industry. There is nothing organic about anything that they're projecting, and it comes down to, this whole UNSDA, ESG, DEI. Those are the top tier of the prerequisites if you're going to be allowed to do business in the new world order. When we looked at diligent, again, I want to keep pulling this platform up because this is just one, but we need to understand the role of these companies and what they do. These are the thugs in suits that are out there uh, implementing the climate related reporting and international subsidy standards boards decrees in order to um, implement what Switzerland is directing as edicts. Proposes major expansion in sustainability reporting requirements for companies. So when we talked about the other day, Daniel Smith and Scott Mull going after the government for overreach on telling them how energy companies in the West are allowed to discuss how they do business, and they were being silenced, and this was an over the top, again, overreach by a dictatorship. Um, this is this is what they're talking about, guys. So here we've got literally Switzerland, Geneva, the psycho eco terrorist organization, unelected bodies, um, suggesting, and then those suggestions come to meat muppets like this guy, and then it goes to the the to these guys, and from there, then it goes to um, these guys, and then from there, it goes to these guys, and they mass bombard regular as clockwork this pinging of what you must believe or else, right? This is the world that they live in, is the or else world, right? And yeah, this is this is the kind of step by step. If you're climbing down into the swamp of how we get to the top tier of the propaganda, which is the CBC, this is where all of the censorship um, levels come in as well. They've stratified all of the different responses, and again, it comes back to the PAR cycles. They call them, I believe, PAR cycles. Yes, my head has been exploding with the amount of information that I've consumed to put this together for everybody. So hope is disjointed as what it has been here with all of this tonight. That there's going to be enough resources that anybody that's interested enough uh, we'll be able to make more sense out of it by digging into the Substack tomorrow. I thought they said Canadian news was no longer allowed on Facebook yet, but yet all of the politicians are on there, absolutely, and they're also on Substack, and they're also on Substack getting paid for their Substacks for views, and they're probably getting a whole lot more than paid for their Substacks than what we are over here. So it's yeah, and then we that's without taking into account, yeah, Don Jr., the programmed AI bots running around now. So and that's in essence, I want people to understand the magnitude of what we're up against, and this is the plague of all of the media platforms that are out there. You're going to run into all of these creatures and critters on all of the platforms. That's where they live. Where the news doesn't reach, the politician doesn't reach. Well, that's where they bring in the other swamp creatures um, to do the to get make sure that the message gets everywhere, even where they won't go. All right. So that was yeah, a knee deep walk through the swamp. I didn't get drag you guys right to the bottom, but uh, showed you guys kind of where the footings of the dock are, or one of the docks are, I guess per se, and people can dig into more of that, but understanding what we're really up against, and like your kids, this is where your kids are getting it from. And at the end of the day, when our kids are completely surrounded by screens, who do we have to blame for what they consume and believe, right? So it's kind of disturbing. So I've got a couple of completely left field seeds to plant for discussion for another day. We're getting kind of down here last 15 minutes, so I'll bring up a couple of these little things and make some points. Uh, yeah, apologize for those that I maybe got their hopes up about having some fun together in restreaming the Biden Trump debate. Not going to happen. Um, Maybe we'll at a somewhere down the road we'll get some clips that we can use. But this is about picking my fights, and that isn't really my fight, and I'm not really willing to lose any more platforms, right, wrong, or otherwise, because I wanted to say F you to CNN and stream their pathetic attempt to control the narrative. I think everybody's going to have it figured out, anyways, but um, we've got some other more pressing, disturbing stories to dig into that I think maybe flying under the radar, not getting noticed, or getting the attention that they probably should be getting, given light of some of the other disturbing events happening around Canada. So, guys, we've got this global body reviewing allegations of discrimination by Canadian Human Rights Commission. Um, this is from Reuters. This has made its way into global news as well. So this is turning into something, and we've watched for the last couple of years our government commit atrocity after atrocity, from seizing people's bank accounts to right up to horses trampling seniors on the streets. We've seen our government, our quote unquote elected officials, um, destroying any credibility as far as for you know, respecting human rights or rights of any kind. Our government has no respect for any kind of rights whatsoever, and prove me wrong on that. But unless you're one of their special pets, your rights don't matter. You don't have rights in Canada, you have privileges. That's an important distinction between any other sovereign country and the de facto nation of Canada. We do not have rights, we have privileges. As a privilege, they will grant us the right to speak, in certain occasions and at certain times. That's kind of the word salad of Canada has gone back for a long, long time. But we've got Canada's human rights credentials up for review by a global body after a complaint. The interesting part of this complaint was that it's after a review, after a coalition of human rights organizers submitted a complaint about anti-Black discrimination within the Human Rights Commission. That's what this is about. Um, and then they're initiating a special review. The interesting part of what happens with a review like this is that I think I had it squeezed off here. If the According to the website, the commission was granted A status first in 1999, again 2006, 2011, 2016, and 2023. Now, if with this filing they downgrade from A to a B status, the commission would no longer have independent participation rights at the UN Human Rights Council, which means Canada would be so far down the dictatorship list that we would not be allowed at the table to speak at the UN Human Rights Council. Do you remember who's running the UN Human Rights Council? I think maybe we'll save that for another discussion. Part of the challenge. Who, what nation, what nation is represented as the head of the UN uh, Human Rights Council? I think you guys will be appalled at who is sitting at that table telling us in Canada we don't have the right to be at the Human Rights Council and have a voice because we are abusing certain individuals and demographics, right? Uh, sorry, that was over here on this Reuters post where I was reading from, guys. My apologies. So yeah, if the alliance downgrades from Canada to a B status, the commission would no longer have rights, have independent participation rights at the UN Human Rights Council. Let that sink in, please. No, actually, it's not. It's not. It's not China. It's not Iran. And 100%, the UN is the most criminal organization on the planet. And you go back a couple of weeks where I introduced people to the OIC and their involvement with the United Nations. That tells you that would tell you a lot about where the direction of Canada is actually headed, right? So, with that, we're heading into a long weekend this weekend. One last little bit of new news, guys. I hope if you're planning on flying anywhere over the long weekend, be careful. There may be a strike. Not that I have any faith in flying whatsoever, given what we know about current biological warfare programs running around on the planet. I believe it's Nigeria, guys, that is ahead of the human rights one of these third world African countries. It totally escapes my brain at the moment. Rough day, like I was saying. But yeah, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Double check your flights. Make sure you've got a backup plan if anything should happen. And an interesting to cap the night off with something fun, a little bit more uplifting, and empowering. More tools, tools, guys. Always giving you trying to find things that I can give you guys that help you get better in this fight. And we're winning, right? So obviously, even though we're only reaching a small minority of the people we're usually able to reach, it's still making an impact. And here's some friends of mine over at Canadian Shareable News on Substack. It's the only place that they publish is on Substack. They're working in conjunction with some European outlets, and they've been, they're very good at aggregating and pulling together, you know, all kinds of relevant information, and they've got some great resources on their Substack. So I want to give them a really huge shout out. I had a good meeting with them today, and where there's going to be more cooperation towards mutual benefits and ends to for sorting the news, setting a better standard out there. But oh shoot, I forgot to. You're not even seeing this again. Yeah, 15 questions. Here's guys. Media ethics are being talked about in Germany, and some of the information that is in the Overton window in Germany, questioning the tactics and methodology and the dangers of these mockingbird mercenaries and their influencers and all of those things. There's some great information that is coming out in the public space over there. So my friend over at Canadian Shareable News put it together, and like she's right. Questions worth asking of Canadian media outlets too. This is something that we're going to be launching. Uh, well, not really launching, but we're taking part in some alternative accreditation. We don't need Trudeau to tell us that we're a good media platform. This is just 15 different questions that you get that will help you cipher through whether other news and journalist platforms are they what they portray themselves to be, right? And part of that is, this is why I'm so consistent on telling people, we finally got a way where we can actually deliver news in a proper, ethical, fair, and biased standard. In having discussions with people about what we're building between What's Up Canada, LGM, Substack, and a partnership with another organization we'll be announcing, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, is a demand for new ethical journalism. You guys will see it on some of my stuff. I've been accredited and by a new association, and this is what we're going to do. There's going to be a new standard coming, folks. It's not to take away from anybody else out there. We fight for free speech, for everybody to have the right to free speech, um, good, bad, or otherwise. Not everybody likes me. That's okay. I should still have the right to speak. And if I speak the truth, provide the receipts, that is the point of doing what I do and be building a trust that should set this platform apart from some of the noise. Um, there's all kinds of soap operas out there. You can fill your screen 24 hours a day with soap operas. Um, I don't think this helps anybody at the end of the day. There's plenty of distraction. There's plenty of smoke. Um, yeah, lots out there. Um, and it doesn't have to be offensive. It doesn't have to be toxic. Like some people that know a lot but they're toxic. Um, I choose to work with people that are doing it with empathy, compassion, kindness, and expanding their language, and don't necessarily need vulgarity and sensationalism and offensive, toxic stuff to try and get their point across. I'm not about shock value. I am not Howard Stern. So you're going to get fair, balanced journalism to the best of the available information that I have every single day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Central. This is what it's going to be. 20 shows a month, 20 Substacks with all of the receipts per month. Yeah, that's a new standard that we're going to be living up to here at What's Up Canada over the coming days, and I hope that you find enough value in that to maybe consider, finding a way to help us stay free for everybody through. You can always buy us a coffee. You can find a link to that on our website. Links to all of this are in the show notes every single day. And on that note, I'm going to let you all go and go entertain yourselves with the Biden and Trump uh, event coming up right shortly. I hope you guys have your entertaining beverages of choice. And yeah, tomorrow night, oh yeah, last but not least, as always, every Friday, Bankers, Bandits, Bullion, and Bucks with Bryce. We had to share him last week, but as far as I am aware, we'll be able to have a jam packed show for everybody tomorrow night. And until then, I love you all. Stay Canadian, stay mighty, my fellow patriots and hostages, and we will see you tomorrow.